Welcome to Cage Minds. I'm Mika Frankl, and today we're joined by Freddy Sandoval. First off, thank you for the time, sir. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Appreciate you, man.
All right. So for everybody that doesn't know Freddy, let's give the grand introduction. Jack of all trades, fitness trainer, boxer, grappler, mixed martial artist, coach. He's been in the game for a long time, old school. I'm telling you guys, so we got a lot to talk about. He's had a career, retired, came back, and has a whole nother one now going on. So there's a lot to get to. Did I miss anything in there?
Uh, Father of a handful. That's on top of everything else. No, but you nailed it, man.
And then the gym is Sandoval Fighting Systems, right?
Yeah, we have. It started out as the Fit Facility, which is Freddy's Insane Impact Training, where I took on personal training, and then obviously I got back into the mixed martial arts game, practicing jiu-jitsu, started working on my boxing, and decided, you know what, I need to give it another run around. And then everybody's like, "Oh, you're back in the game. Like, can we come train this and that?" And so that's how we brought SFS back to the building.
Back in the day, early
Yeah.
2000s. I'm still a fight fan of the local scene, and that's
Mm-hmm.
when your first career happened. So take me back then, take me back to the Freddy that was back then. Why you and the family jumped into combat sports?
It started getting real bad on the streets out here. First of all, that's really ultimately what did it for me. Um, it's worse now, but back then it started getting bad. Wasn't as many shootings and whatnot, but people were getting shot at, stabbed. One particular incident, we got into a little rumble with a bunch of people, a bunch of gang members at the state fair. It's funny that this story, the fight that occurred was actually in the parking lot of where my gym is at now. Crazy, back in 2005, I think it was. So it's crazy that that's where we're at now, because the whole incident that said I'm done fighting on the streets, I'm going to take it and do it professionally and get paid for it. That incident happened right where we are at right now, in that same parking lot. A couple other local fighters, I'm not going to put names out there, but we were part of it. We were buddies, and it happened, and luckily we got away unscathed. But I had to get out of that. Like back in the day, growing up, you could get in a fight at a party. You have a fight, you guys throw down, you have a beer afterwards, and you continue your night. You get into it at the club, you go back inside, you have a drink, and that's it. It's not like that no more. It hasn't been like that for 15 years already. People just quick to shoot and jump people and stab people and all that. I ran into a buddy from high school, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm training jujitsu," and I'm like, "What is that?" And he's like, "With the Gracies and stuff." And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "Yeah, well, my coach can get you into King of the Cage if you want to fight." And I was like, "Oh, cool," because we used to go watch Diego and stuff, fighting King of the Cage back in the day. So I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Yeah, you'll get paid for it too." And I was like, "Well, I get paid. I don't get in trouble." I was like, "Yeah, sign me up." And that's where it started, man. That's where I started, at least. Started with Art Baca. Another crazy thing is, where I very first started training jiu-jitsu is in the same building that we're at with 10th Planet right now, where we're teamed up with, and where I practice my grappling at, right there on San Mateo and Candelaria. It's the old Rosales kickboxing, but that's where I used to train a couple nights a week with this guy Art Baca. And so it's just weird how these two places that I started initially, I'm back full circle now that I'm back in the game, and those are the two places I'm at where I started. So
you're doing it now for money, doing it without getting in trouble. Somewhere around 2009, you get the back-to-back wins. This is towards the end of your career. A first-round knockout of a name everybody knows, Drew Fickett. I got to ask, actually, everybody knows the name. Is that still one of the most memorable moments to you, or are there other more memorable knockouts for you?
So a lot of people don't know because it's not recorded, but I went to, we were in Chihuahua the weekend prior to that. Myself, my father took us down there. Eric McElroy and Carlos Lopez. They both used to fight with me, really good friends of mine. And we went down there to fight in Chihuahua. And that was the weekend prior to that. So I had just fought out there a week, well, no, 2 weekends before. So I had a week layover, and then I got called for the Fickett fight. 10 days after that fight. So there was that big long travel. I mean, because of the name and just how it all occurred, being at home. I mean, obviously that's the biggest name that I've ever stepped around with and stuff like that. Most memorable, yeah, I'd like to say so. I mean, that's probably the worst knockout I've given anybody. You know, I mean, the guy was out for a year after that to get reconstruction on his face. So probably that one in my first fight, you know, the first fight will never go away. That's going to be a memory, you know, till the day I pass away. But those two fights are the biggest ones and the most important ones that stood out for me.
Now, after the Drew Fickett win, as I see it's recorded, you have one more fight with Sadiya Parker, and that's when you said you were kind of done?
So that one was, I think that was what, a month after Drew Fickett, maybe. It was shortly after. So I wasn't even supposed to fight on that card. I'm up there hanging out with Jim Burleson. He's a promoter at the time. My best friend. He was my promoter beginning, turned manager, and he's my best friend now. I was just up there hanging out with Jim, just helping him out, hanging out, having a good time. Weigh-ins were the Friday night. The guy that Sadiya's supposed to fight shows up. Some kid from Oklahoma weighs in. They square off. Everything's set to go. And the kid doesn't show up on Saturday. Nobody can reach him Saturday. And Jim Burleson was like, hey, man, I need a favor. And I already knew what he was asking. You know, he's like, you want that shot at that King of the Cage belt? You know, here you go. And I'm like, bro, I'm not ready. I have not been training. I just came off of these other fights. Like, I'm just here hanging out. And he's like, listen, I need the fight. I need you to take this fight. It's the main event title fight. The kid sold tickets. You know, I need this from you. And I can't turn down a fight. You know, fighting's never been about money for me. It's always been just for the excitement, just for the fun. So I was like, okay, cool. You know, we'll do it. Why not? And so I had to borrow some gear. We had a couple things because I always have a bag with me. You never know what's going to happen. You know, I wasn't anticipating it. You know, my dad always carries stuff. So we were up there, told him okay, and took the fight. I mean, shit, 5 hours before the actual fight happened. So wasn't trained, wasn't planned, wasn't prepared, nothing like that. We go out and he's just avoiding the whole time, you know. I mean, I'm pretty sure he knew I wasn't in shape or nothing like that. Who knows what Jim told him to sell him on the fight. I know he's seen me hitting mitts in the back prior to that. And I was just really, I don't have cardio at that point. So I'm just like, well, I just need to land that right hand, get this shit over with. And he did a great job avoiding that right hand the whole time. The crowd was booing. I got irritated myself. I put my hands down, put my face out, started being dumb. I got popped with a jab. So I started putting a little more pressure. We engaged in a clinch. We ended up on the ground and we were in a tussle to get back up right before the bell rang. And we slipped somehow and he slipped on top of me and I popped a cartilage in between my ribs and it still sticks out to this day. And if you've ever had that happen or seen somebody or heard it, it's just brutal. Like, oof, it takes the breath out of you. You can't breathe. You're stuck in wind. And I popped a cartilage. I know the 10-second bell, like maybe the 10-second bell rang already. I don't know. It was near the end of the first round. I popped that cartilage. I can't breathe. I can't continue on. But, you know, and I just had a lot of stuff going on after that in my personal life. I needed to get straight and get in order. And that's where I was like, yeah, I got to step away from this for a while. And it sucked. It hurt. It was a big blow, but it was what needed to happen, I guess. Sucks losing, especially, you know, a fight like that. You know, you got a title shot and whatever. And it's a fight I could have won, I believe, had I been a little bit prepared for it, you know, and given more than 5 hour notice. But you know, hats off to that dude. He's come a long ways. He's really grown. So that's good, man, and happy for him. Um, but yeah, I just had a lot of shit going on. I was young, man. I was young back then. So priorities called, life called, and you know, obviously I wasn't making money. We were getting $500 maybe. I mean, I think shit, I got $2,500 for knocking out Drew Pickett, and 500 or 1,500 was like a knockout bonus I got, and that's a 3-day notice. So the paydays weren't shit back then. But again, it just personal things, man. Had to walk away and get going.
Did you envision a time where we'd be back here, where we would be back talking about you as a fighter, you as a coach? Did you envision this position again?
You know, it's been in the back of my mind for a long time, ever since I walked away. Once I started getting things in order, you know, it's played in and out over the years. And, you know, I knew, though, it's not something I can do until I'm 110% focused and all my ducks are in a row outside in my personal life, because I know what I have to do this time around. You know, what type of commitment I need to put into this, what type of training I need to put into this, what type of sacrifice, and what all goes into it. So it had been toyed around over the years. Had you said it would have happened, I don't know, man. It's hard to say, honestly. I did say one thing, that if I did come back and fight and compete again, I would not train fighters or take anybody in to help them, unless they were training partners. I wouldn't coach nobody and do none of that. I would train with guys if they had fights coming up, but no coaching until myself was done. Because back in the day, I had 2, 3, 4 guys fighting on a card, and then guess who's the main event? I got to step in there, coach all these guys, come back out and fight myself, and it was too much, man. It was a headache. So I was like, I'm not getting into that rodeo again. But you come across certain guys, certain kids, and it's just that talent right there. And you know, how could you say no? You know, so yeah, it's 50-50 to answer your question. I'll put it that way. It's a 50-50 thing. I did want to coach at one point. At some point, I did say, yeah, I'm going to get into coaching MMA again. But I guess to kind of coach and get people to believe in you, certain times, certain people, I guess you have to, me personally, I believe you have to get in there and show that you have the knowledge, and that you have, you know, you have it inside of you to put that trust in them, and then put that trust in you to say, hey, this guy's going to get me ready for a fight against somebody else. And so I guess that's part of it, you know, showing that, hey, I can show up. If I can do it, you can do it, type of thing.
I gotta say, probably when you were competing the first time, the sport was actually, the scene was booming more here locally. But as
Oh,
you
it was ridiculous
for that decade, how inspiring or driving was it seeing it blowing up globally?
It was awesome, dude. It was awesome. Seeing a lot of people that I know, a lot of friends, a lot of people that I trained with, you know, getting up there in the ranks, it was huge. Seeing guys in the UFC and Bellator that I've trained with, you know, some of it was a little heartbreaking at times. Like, I got a couple calls to do the Ultimate Fighter early on, and you know, personal reasons didn't allow me to go do it. You know, so it was kind of like that, always that what if in the back of my head, in the back of my heart. But it just made me want to focus more. You know, if that day comes, okay, I'm going to do this again. It just, all right, you got to focus more. You got to get your shit together. Like, there can't be anything left unturned to make sure that this goes right 110%. I had a rocky career up and down. I know my last year out, I had, I think, 4 wins and then that 1 loss. You know, so it was concerning a bit, but it, like I said, I had to have everything in a row, you know, because everything grew so much and so fast. You know, seeing everything grow the way that it grew, seeing all the people on these big stages that I know, you know, the camera's on you that time. The spotlight's on you. It's not just a local news station. You know, you got ESPN involved now. You got these big shows, big TV shows, big companies in in the light now. So it was good though, man. It gave me a lot of fire and a lot of drive though, for sure.
Even if it wasn't fighting, fitness seems to have been a big part of your life this whole time.
Hmm. Yeah, fitness has always been huge for me. I broke my back right before I was supposed to graduate in 2003. So I was like 120 pounds. I used to wear a body brace connected from here all the way down to my left leg on my back. Um, I was banged up for about 6 months, and I have compression spine fractures in my lower vertebrae. I broke a couple things here and there, fractured a couple different things, and when you go through something like that, it's really so you can't do nothing anymore, and you just lay down, or you pull your head up and say, I'm not going to listen to them. And that's what it was for me. And I got in the gym and started working out. Hitting the weights, doing what I can, working out, playing basketball. Then that's when I got into martial arts 2 years after that, and it's just been a big part of my life. Dealing with depression, PTSD, a lot of different things I've dealt with in my life, addiction, just certain things like that. Staying in shape and staying healthy has helped me clear the pathway from all the bullshit, instead of being down and depressed or upset or whatever, or in the trenches over something and going out and drinking. I go to the gym instead.
Get to that point.
It was pretty quick. I gotta say, it was pretty quick. It's been an on and off thing, but it's been steady probably for the past 10 years. Steady for the past 10 years. Like, I don't want to go sometimes, but it's become second nature. You just got to show up to the gym. You just got to do it. There's nights, even now, I sit in the parking lot at 10th Planet and I'm like, fuck. I see the cars and I'm like, man, there's some good guys here tonight. You're just not feeling it. It's the end of the day. I'm tired. I'm beat down. The last thing I want to do is go in there and get choked. But you put your mouthpiece on, you bite down, and you get in there and you handle that shit.
How tiring is it throughout the day? Just, we know your regular job, you're a strength and conditioning, a fitness coach already. So you're out the grind all day, and then you turn it towards your career and coaching and guiding the youth at night.
Yeah, I get up, take the kids to school, get that run down, then I get to work, train clients. I get a little break in between where I'm putting more stuff together for work or taking care of any appointments I have, getting stuff together, getting workouts together, planning stuff, getting game plans together for the guys that are fighting. That's what I do for my lunch. Pick the kids back up, and then I'm back in the gym, and I'm in between clients and classes. We started a full-on MMA program at my gym now, in connection with Dark Haven 10th Planet. So they had an MMA program that Carlos Condit was doing a couple days a week over there. Obviously, he retired. So he's trying to get his enjoyment out of life right now. So we moved the MMA program and made it a full-time structured program down the street at my gym. So yeah, I get in there, train myself, train the guys, and I'm bringing in help, obviously, because it's not something I can do on my own. I don't know all these, I don't know every area of the game. So bringing in help has been a big, big thing. And show up. Like I say, you show up. You just got to do it, man. You got to do it. You want it. You have to do it. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm beat up. I'm drained. Some days I don't eat enough. But at the end of the day, I want to fight so bad. I want to compete so bad that I get in there and I show up tired, hurt, starving. It doesn't matter. And it sucks because, I miss time away from my family. I miss time away from my kids. I don't get to sit, have dinner with my kids and do homework with them like normal parents do, because I'm at the gym trying to reach my goals and trying to reach my dream. But, in that same mirror sense, it shows them what sacrifice is and what commitment is. So hopefully they see that and take that into their growing up and stuff like that, that they put in that type of hard work and they go for what they want. I do my best to make them a part of it as much as I can. The kids are in the gym with me a lot. They probably hate it sometimes, I know, but they're getting used to it. They get used to the guys. The team starts seeing the kids around, and everybody. It just becomes one big family. But it's a little exhausting, man. But like I said, when you want something, you got to do it. And I'm already going to be 37 this summer, so I got to buckle down. I don't have much time left on the clock, you know.
We know that you want to compete, but it wasn't in the cage, and you wanted to compete so much. A couple of days notice, and you took a boxing match.
Try like 12-hour notice. Yeah, so there was no MMA going on for COVID. I was working boxing prior to that. And I just I got a call for a fight. You know, the day before the event, they called me and they said, "Hey, heads up, they're going to be reaching out to you. They need somebody to box Mikey." You know, Mikey's a good buddy of mine from El Paso, and they had offered us this match before because they're like, "Hey, well, we got another guy that's or he's never boxed before. He's got a small MMA record. You've never boxed before. You guys are the same weight. It's a perfect match." And I'm like, "Cool." Once they sent us the names, we were like, "Hey, bro," and they're like, "Yeah, did you know that?" And I'm like, So we're like, well, if we're gonna fight each other, we need pay, you know. And obviously, first time boxers, you're not getting nothing. You don't get much, a couple $100. So we agreed we're not gonna fight each other for a couple $100. And so we bagged that idea. And he went on about his deal, and I went on with my deal, and there we go. 3 months later, I'm sick. Just came up of training for another guy that I was supposed to fight in Carlsbad recently, and then that guy bails out. And I got sick after that. And that's when they said, "Hey, you want to box tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Well, not really. You know, I'm sick. I haven't trained in 2 weeks." And they're like, "We'll make it worth your time. We'll make it worth it. You know, we need you to save this event and stuff like that." And, I was like, okay. And I knew who it was. So I got a hold of him, and we had our talks and stuff like that. And obviously I agreed to go down there and take the fight. So we rolled up there Saturday and got in the boxing ring, man, had fun. It was cool, Didn't get hurt, got a nice little payday for what it was worth, got the experience. Got to get a little bit of jitters out of me, obviously, since I haven't been in a fight, in 12 and a half years. So it was cool, man. I definitely wouldn't mind trying boxing again, though. I'm going to be ready and prepared this time and have an opponent to head up. But I definitely want to try it again.
That's a bigger point on it that I forgot to make earlier. Oh, yeah, somewhere during this whole COVID pandemic in the last 2 years is when Freddy here is like, okay, now I'm going to open up a gym, and now I'm going to dive head on into the sport. Kind of the opposite of what everybody else was doing at the moment.
Yeah, everybody else was sitting around being lazy, and I was getting paid, man. I was getting paid. A lot of people that are in my circle and that I know, they weren't trying to be lazy. They're like, "Hey, man, we need to do something. We need to get going." So we would set up mats at the park. We would train at the park. Opened up a little spot, kind of kept it on the DL. You can either fold, or you can get up and do what you got to do. And like I said, I'm not the type of person to fold. And what am I gonna sit on my ass for? We don't know what time was gonna last. A year, 3 months, 2 weeks, 6 years. We don't know what that COVID was gonna do. But I wasn't gonna sit and get out of shape and waste more time. I wasted enough of my life, man, and sitting on my butt doing nothing with everybody else just wasn't in the cards for me, dude. Couldn't do it. So yeah, we got us a gym out of it. Got us a gym and straightened out my skills. Where do we go from here?
Yeah, what's next?
Growth. Definitely want to grow the gym. Both sides of it, the MMA side and not just MMA, but the whole martial arts in a whole. I got an annoying guy right here. He likes to be on the front seat. Definitely want to grow the gym, both sides. That's what I'm working on. I got a buddy that he's got a small powerlifting gym. We grappled together, so we're in talks of kind of combining the gyms. That way we diversify more We have more diversity coming out of the fit facility, not just athletic training and combat sports training and personal training. We can add the strength man training to the gym, and those people in that gym can get mixed martial arts training, combat sports training. They can get, the body weight type workouts, the calisthenic stuff that we offer and that I offer. So that's the next step right here. I'm going to get in as many competitions, grappling events as I can. I've got, I think, 3 matches lined up in the next couple months. Come on, bro. Yeah. I got 3 matches lined up in the next couple months, grappling. So that's on my agenda right now. I've been kicking the idea around that if I don't get a match by my birthday, like a fight, I'll probably just call it a day at that point and just continue to focus on coaching and grappling only. Maybe put on a couple more pounds and go up a little bit in the grappling weight just to see what I can do. I see some of the heavier guys at boxing. I don't want to get too heavy just in case boxing does present itself. I don't mind taking that opportunity. But as far as the MMA goes, yeah, if I don't land something by May, I may just focus on just coaching completely 100%.
And objectively speaking, then what's the goals for the team, for that MMA team, for the grappling team, for the guys that you're coaching?
So the goal now, we got about 7 amateurs right now. I know we have a couple more, but they're not up and ready yet. We have about 6-7 guys that are ready to compete. We got 4 guys coming up next month here in Albuquerque. They'll be fighting. 3 of them you guys seen. We're going to be debuting another amateur of ours. He's got phenomenal hands. He's about 140 pounds, but he hits like a middleweight. So that'll be another treat for everybody to see. Me personally, I won't let my guys turn pro underneath me unless they have a good 7-8 wins. Now if they're 7-6, it's one of those things that's in the air. And this is just coming from my personal experience. I didn't have a choice to be amateur. When I started fighting, we didn't have an athletic commission, so it was right into the pros. So I want these guys, especially these younger guys, to take full advantage of the amateur fights. I want them to learn, to get the experience. I want them to do grappling competitions. I want them to do boxing and kickboxing smokers. We're not going to be limited to just MMA anymore. You're going to see Sandoval Fighting System at grappling events, at boxing events, at kickboxing events. If we can get into Muay Thai events, you will see us there. Our guys are going to be well-rounded all the way. And that's where I've brought in help from different people in different camps to help make sure our guys have that full knowledge of the game, that full experience. So they're not saying, oh, well, these guys are just wrestlers or just street fighters, like we used to be back at one point. But everybody's going to get up there, man. We got some talent on the team. We got some real good talent, and we have a fine coaching staff, man. We're going to have some belts by the summer. By the end of the year, we'll have a couple belts for sure. That's number one priority, is get these guys a couple belts and get them some wins. We're not going to pick and choose. Sandoval's never been known for picking and choosing. Whatever we get, we just there to fight. One of my mottos, has been always, we don't care what the other guy does. We're not there to fight our fight. And the sooner I get my guys to buy into that, the sooner we start bringing home more gold, more belts and stuff like that, more medals.
What was it like back at Fight World as a coach? Seems like so many months of work went into seeing those young men step in the cage and have the success that they did.
Man, I was more nervous than them. And it's crazy because at the boxing event, our striking coach, Terrace James, he was like, and I'm like, man, you okay? I couldn't get woken up. I mean, maybe because I was sick or whatever, or just because it was boxing. I don't know, but I did not have no bounce, no nothing, no nerves, nothing. And he was nervous, and I'm like, what are you nervous for? You know, I'm the one gonna go get punched. So then 3 weeks later, I knew what he was talking about, man. Even at the weigh-ins, I was jittery, I was shaky, man. I had to carry a bottle of water. I kept getting dry mouth. You know, I was nervous for these kids. And you know, a lot of people have this conception that we put a lot of work into those camps. We got 4 weeks of work. Those guys put in 4 straight weeks of work for that fight. That is it. 2 of those guys never done MMA before. Ray's the only one that has any experience, and Ray's never had a proper training camp like that. So, you know, I was a little against the other 2, Rob and Ian, fighting at first because they don't have MMA experience, but they're gifted athletes. They showed up and they worked their asses off. So it was more of a measuring stick for those 2 guys that night. But man, you know, I felt like a parent, like a happy, proud parent, a newborn. You bring in a newborn into the world, that excitement, that joy. That's what I felt like, man. I was probably happier than those kids were for them, man. I think Ray said he said I jumped so high when he won. Looking at the video, you know, I was just proud, man. It was awesome to see a short amount of work go into that, but hard work. It wasn't, these guys didn't have it easy. I'll tell you that much. They did not have it easy, you know, but the work paid off. The work paid off, man. It paid off. It wasn't a fluke, nothing like that. It paid off. It was hard work that went into it for these kids. And that's the type of talent that we have, that we're grooming. And I'm looking forward to what's to come for those guys and the rest of our guys.
Are you going to let Ray Viza train a running flying knee on you?
You know, he's like my little brother, man. He's been around since he was in diapers, you know, cleaning the cage for my dad back in the local days. Oh man, I told them each, you know, hey, go home. You got some homework. I want you to envision your fight. Envision your fight. I told them I need you to see the fight happening, and I want you to come back and walk me through the fight. And Ray came back. He wanted to throw a flying knee. Okay. Convince me that you can throw it, and convince me that it is doable, and we will work it. And the kid convinced me, man. I mean, he convinced me, and he convinced the whole world. He gave it away, though. He gave it away the first time. He could have landed it right off the gate. That was the plan, is to come out and land it off the gate. And he could have, but he was sitting there getting too excited, you know, grabbing the cage, being a poncho about it, you know. And that guy caught it. That guy caught it. You know, he's been around for a minute. He knew what Ray was up to, and that's why he came out and stepped off to the side. But Ray seen the opening, man, and he ducked it, man, and I'm proud of him. Got to trust your guys, man. They trust you. You got to trust them sometimes.
It was obviously a huge night. We've got many more to come. And it's really hard for me to believe that with you've already assembled this team so quickly, gathered coaches. You've had the one fight. You've been looking for fights that you can't tell me that you really didn't think in your heart that this was going to happen again, because it's coming together quite well for not having been your true desire.
It came about. I mean, it's always been there. Like I said, it's always been there. Just a matter of making it happen. You know, does this happen? Is this right? I mean, I guess I kind of acquired the pieces, you know, in preparation for getting myself ready prior to taking on the responsibility of these other guys. You know, establishing relationships with other athletes, with other gyms, with other coaches, with other fighters. You know, since COVID started up, prior to COVID, I was supposed to fight that April. That was supposed to be my coming out fight back in April at Hobbs, and then COVID shut that down. I just, at that point, I didn't stop. You know, but 5 years ago, I can't honestly say that we would be here right now. 5 years ago, yes, it's always been in the back of my head, but not like this. Not like this. Like I said, if I did it, I was going to fight. Once I was done, then I'll take on the team. But I just, again, I couldn't say no to the talent the talent that was in front of me and that was around me that asked me for help and wanted to get back in there, you know. So, and again, I've had help. It's not been a single man show. I've had help from a few other people to get these guys ready. My dad's played a big part in all of this, you know, organizing pieces as the man always has done, you know, making things possible. The coaching staff at Dark Haven, 10th Planet, you know, Coach Terrace James has been huge in all of this too. So the pieces were all just right there. Everything just happened so fast at once, and we were ready for it, man. That's how I live my life, on the fast lane. We ready for whatever happens, you know.
It's funny that you said 5 years, because probably 5 years ago, I think I was in Roswell watching a show in a tiny cage that your dad was there putting together.
Yep. And that cage is in our damn gym right now, man. 20 feet, nowhere to run.
A lot to come, a lot building into the team. And this year we're hoping to see you fight. That's the goal, right?
Yeah, that's the big goal right now. That's the main goal.
What would it mean to you to not just, what would it mean to get back in there and have that goal, to be able to test yourself, to have that one more fight?
Man, that would be everything. That'd be huge. It would be everything. It'll be all my hard work paying off. I had 2 big camps last year, you know, that I put a lot of freaking work into, probably too much, because at the end of one, like I said, I ended up getting sick after that. You know, a lot of time away from the home, a lot away from my family, from the kids, you know, long hours at the gym, man, and a lot of damage and wear on the body. I know people look at me and everybody's like, "Oh, well, you're in great shape," you know, da 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 da. But it don't matter what shape you're in, man. Taking a beating every day still hurts. It still takes a toll on you. It doesn't matter what you look like or how you're built. Getting in there, getting strangled, you know, getting limbs twitched and twacked and getting kicked and punched, you know, it takes a damage, you know, after so long. And it just all of that would mean something. All of that would have been for something, because right now there's a void there, and I think that's why I'm like, well, if I don't get something by May, I'm just gonna bag it, you know. And it's something I don't want to do. Again, that's probably why that's in my head right now, because I feel like everything, bless you, has been for nothing at this point. You know, yeah, I got a couple grappling matches and, you know, did that and competed and come out on top. But that's not where I'm trying to test myself right now. I need to test myself in physical combat, you know, where everything's involved, you know. I need to get back into that cage, and I need to do that. And it will tell me that everything's been for a reason. That's what it'll do for me. And it was also my mom's, it was also her last thing that she wanted to see. She passed away recently. So it would mean a lot for her too.
My condolences on that.
Yeah, appreciate it.
As a coach, as a fighter, what do you think has changed the most in the time, in the decade, 12 years since the last fight? What's most different about the game on that side, in cage?
Maturity, for sure. Maturity has been a big thing. And the evolution, watching the evolution. I mean, you can't just be one dimensional now. You can't just be a great wrestler and get in there and dominate. You know, you can't be a great kickboxer and get in there and whoop ass. You know, you can't be a black belt only and do damage. You have to have everything. You have to be open, you know, to trying new things. You have to be open to training new elements. And if you're not open to that, you're going to be stuck in the old ages, man. You're not going to move forward. And that was one of my things that I had to accept, because I don't like boxing. Not one bit, man. I don't like sit there getting punched in the face. You got 2 tools. That's it. You know, if I got hit in the cage, I just take you down, kick you. You know, it's not like that no more. People are they're hip to all that stuff. Being in the mount used to mean something. It doesn't mean anything anymore. You know, having a rear naked sunk in means nothing no more. You know, so the evolution and accepting it has been the biggest thing that I noticed change wise.
Freddy Sandoval, Sandoval Fight Systems. Sir, definitely got to thank you for the time. Last but
Yeah,
not least,
man.
let's build that social media following. How can everybody keep up with you?
I'm on Instagram at Sandoval_fit, FIIT. And then just Freddy Sandoval on Facebook. You'll see my picture on there. We also have a business page and a group, the Fit Facility group and Fit Facility page. It keeps most of our updates for the gym stuff going on. We don't have anything particular for the fight team just yet. I've got enough on my hands already to try to manage that type of stuff too. So we'll have something up and running soon for the gym and for the team. I gotta get one of those kids that knows all the technology stuff that can do it real quick. Get one of them to handle that stuff for us. But yeah, Instagram and Facebook, you'll find us on there. Find me on there, and you'll start seeing us everywhere, man.
Looking forward to it. And you got a last message for everybody?
Thank you for what you do, man, and appreciate you and your time and everything that you do for the sport. Without you, a lot of people don't know who we are and don't know what's going on in the world. So that's been big, especially me coming back home and getting on social media and being able to keep updated with you, with your site, and with everything you have going on. So that's been huge. You know, you cover all the local stuff too. So checking that out and seeing that's been great, man. So I appreciate everything you're doing, and big thanks to my coaches and my family and my friends, all my sponsors out there. Just keep in tune, everybody. We got some big stuff in store. And the Sandoval legacy, it'll go on through this guy eventually.
That's Freddy again. Appreciate you and thank you for the time today.
Hey man, thank you. Have a good day, bud.